Nuggets of Wisdom. Printed material, September 13th, 2019, from Leslie Balfour, Balfour, Past Life Readings, her website, Archetypes, Light and Shadow Attributes. This is a 6-page document, so there's quite a bit. It is in alphabetical order, and I will begin. Addict. Light attribute. Helps you recognize and confront addictive behavior. Shadow attribute. Compromises integrity and honesty. Allows an addictive pattern to have authority over your inner spirit. Advocate. Light. Inspires you to put compassion into action. Shadow. Embracing negative causes or committing to causes for personal gain. Alchemist. Light. Transformation of base motives and goals into golden wisdom. Shadow. Misuse of the power and knowledge that come through spiritual practice. Angel. Light. Helping those in need with no expectation of return. Shadow. Acting innocent or angelic to mislead others, falsely claiming to be in touch with angelic guidance. Artist. Light. Expressing a dimension of life that is just beyond the 5 senses, inspiring others to see life symbolically. Shadow. Using talent as an excuse to mistreat others, posing as a starving artist to elicit pity. Athlete. Light. Dedication to transcending physical limits, including handicaps. Development of personal willpower and strength of spirit. Shadow. Misuse of athletic ability for selfish ends. False sense of invulnerability and entitlement. Avenger. 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 Light. Desire to balance the scales of justice. Righteousness on behalf of society, of oneself. Shadow. Resorting to violence in the name of a cause. Beggar. Light. Confronts empowerment at the level of physical survival. Awakens the spiritual authority of humility, compassion, and self-esteem. Shadow. Dependence on others to the exclusion of effort. Bully. Light. Highlights your tendency to intimidate others. Helps you confront the inner fears that bully you. Shadow. Conceals deep fears behind verbal or physical abuse. Child. Variations include divine, eternal boy, girl, magical, innocent, nature, orphan, and wounded, many of which are present to some degree in every psyche. One aspect is usually dominant. Choose carefully because you can have only one child archetype in your support team. Okay. Then she goes on to describe the different types of child. Child, divine, light, innocence, purity, and redemption. Suggests a special connection with the divine. Shadow, an inability to defend oneself against negative forces. Child, eternal, light, determination to remain young in body, mind, and spirit, ability to see things with fresh eyes. Shadow, inability to grow up and be responsible, extreme dependency on others for physical security. Oh, that sounds like me. Child, magical, light, seeing the potential for sacred beauty in all things, the belief that everything is possible. Shadow, pessimism, depression, and disbelief in miracles, believing that energy and action are not required for growth. Child, nature, light, friendships with animals, communication with nature spirits. Shadow, tendency to abuse animals, people, and the environment. Child, orphan, light, independence based on learning to go it alone, conquering fear of surviving. Shadow, feelings of abandonment that stifle maturation, seeking inappropriate surrogate families. Child, wounded, light, awakens compassion and desire to serve other wounded children, opens the learning path of forgiveness. Shadow, blames all dysfunctional relationships on childhood wounds, resists moving on through forgiveness. Okay. Clown. This is its separate archetype. Clown, light, fearlessly revealing emotion, helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy. Shadow, using humor to wound rather than liberate, denial of your emotional truth. Companion, light, loyalty, tenacity, and unselfishness. Shadow, betrayal by misusing confidences, loss of personal identity. Damsel, princess, light, understanding the nature of healthy romance inspires you to rely on yourself. Shadow, waiting for a knight to provide for you, seduction by romantic illusion. Detective, light, great powers of observation and intuition, desire to seek out the truth. Shadow, voyeurism, falsifying information. Destroyer, light, releasing what is potentially destructive, preparing for new life. Shadow, intoxication with destructive power, destroying others' dreams or potential. Dilettante, Dilettate, light, delights in the arts without having to be a professional, alerts you to the danger of becoming superficial in your pursuits. Shadow, pretension to much deeper knowledge than you actually possess. Don Juan, light, spotlights your positive seductive qualities. Shadow, using the power of romantic attraction for private agendas. Engineer, light, ability to give creative energy a practical expression, talent for designing resolutions to common dilemmas. Shadow, reliance on mechanistic solutions without regard for emotional consequences. Exorcist, light, freeing yourself and others of destructive impulses. Shadow, fear of facing your own demons. Father, light, talent for creating and supporting life. Positive guiding light within a tribal unit. Shadow, dictatorial control, abuse of authority. Femme fatale, light, highlights the erotic energy of the feminine, opens your heart when your dependency is rejected. Shadow, inappropriate use of sensuality, attachment to money and power. Fool, light, fearlessly revealing emotion, helping people laugh at absurdity and hypocrisy. Shadow, using humor to wound rather than liberate, denial of your emotional truth. Gambler, light, willingness to follow intuition even when others doubt you. Shadow, relying on luck rather than hard work. God, light, benevolence and compassion, recognizing the eternal force within yourself and others. Shadow, despotism and cruelty, using power to control people. Goddess, light, the feminine expressed through wisdom, nature, life force, and sensuality. Shadow, exploitation of the female nature and form. Gossip, light, awakens consideration for the feelings of others, honoring trust. Shadow, thrives on the power of passing on private or secret information, betraying confidences. Guide, light, represents the nature of the divine in life and in yourself. Shadow, places financial gain and control over imparting spiritual insight. Healer, light, passion to serve others by repairing the body, mind, and spirit. Ability to help transform pain into healing. Shadow, taking advantage of those who need help, failing to care for oneself. Hedonist, light, inspires creative energy to embrace the good things in life, celebrates the beauty in yourself. Shadow, pursues pleasure to the detriment of health, indulges at the expense of others. Hermit, light, seeks solitude to focus intently on inner life, serves personal creativity. Shadow, withdraws from society out of fear or negative judgments of others, refusing to help those in need. Hero, heroine, light, passion for a journey of personal empowerment. Shadow, escapism and a false sense of heroism. Judge, light, balancing justice and compassion, managing the fair distribution of power. Shadow, offering only destructive criticism, misusing business, legal, or criminal authority. King, light, enlightened benevolent leadership, benefiting those in your charge. Shadow, excessive feelings of entitlement, leadership without restraint. Knight, light, loyalty, romance, and chivalry, a love of honor. Shadow, allegiance to a destructive ruler or principle, romantic delusions. Liberator, light, freeing yourself and others from outmoded beliefs, releasing negative thought patterns. Shadow, imposing your own tyranny over those you claim to liberate, ignoring legitimate constraints. Lover, light, great passion and devotion, unbridled appreciation of someone or something. Shadow, obsessive passion that harms others, self-destructive devotion. Martyr, light, learning the transcendent nature of service to oneself or a cause. Shadow, addiction to self-pity. Mediator, light, gift for negotiating fairness and strategy in personal and professional life, respect for both sides of an argument. Shadow, negotiating with an ulterior motive or hidden agenda, either personally or professionally. Mentor, light, passing on wisdom and refining a student's character. Shadow, inability to allow the student to move on to the role of master, imparting false instructions. Messiah, light, serving humanity with humility. Shadow, exaggerated belief that you are the only means through which a cause can succeed. Midas or miser, light, entrepreneurial or creative ability to turn anything to gold, delight in sharing life's riches. Shadow, hoarding money and emotions, obsessive fear of losing your wealth. Monk, nun, NUN. Light, selfless devotion and single minded dedication to spirit. Shadow, negative judgment of the physical world, excess piety. Mother, light, nurturing, patience, unconditional love, joy in giving birth to life. Shadow, smother or abandoning children, instilling guilt in children for becoming independent. Mystic, light, revels in intimate union with the divine. Shadow, delusional support with the divine. Networker, light, enhances unity through the sharing of information, engenders social awareness and empathy. Shadow, conveys information only for personal gain, spreads fear and falsehood. Pioneer, light, passion for doing and creating what has not been done before. Shadow, compulsive need to keep moving on. Poet, light, expresses soul insights in symbolic language. Shadow, turns a lyric side to negative or destructive effect. Prince, light, romantic charm and potential for power. Shadow, using power for self-aggrandizement. Priest, light, facilitates spiritual commitments, serves as a channel of spiritual energy. Shadow, violates the trust of your spiritual community, seduced by your own spiritual role. Prostitute, light, accentuates the challenge of surviving without negotiating the power of your spirit. Shadow, places material considerations and security above self-empowerment. Queen, light, radiates the regal feminine, uses her benevolent authority to protect others. Shadow attribute, becomes arrogant when authority is challenged, controlling and demanding. Rebel, light, challenges authority to effect social change, rejects spiritual systems that do not serve inner needs. Shadow, rejects legitimate authority out of anger, rebels out of peer pressure or fashion. Rescuer, light, provides strength and support to others in crisis, acts out of love with no expectation of reward. Shadow, assumes that the rescued will reciprocate, keeps the rescued one needy. Saboteur, light, highlights your fear of self-empowerment and the changes it would bring to your life. Shadow, induces self-destructive behavior or the desire to undermine others. Samaritan, light, refines your capacity to help those you would prefer to ignore. Shadow, exacting appreciation and recognition for the help you offer. Scribe, light, preserving knowledge and information. Shadow, alter facts or plagiarizing others' work. Seeker, light, thirst for wisdom and truth wherever they are. Shadow, inability to commit to a path once found. Servant, light, delight in serving others with a free and loving heart. Shadow, using the lack of money as an excuse not to move forward with life. Shapeshifter, light, skill at navigating through different levels of consciousness, ability to see the potential in everything. Shadow, projecting any image that serves your personal agenda in the moment. Slave, light, surrendering your power of choice to the divine with complete trust. Shadow, giving your willpower to an external authority out of fear of making your own choices. Storyteller, light, ability to experience and express life through stories and symbols. Shadow, making up tales that harm others. Student, light, humility and devotion to knowledge, openness to lifelong learning. Shadow, arrogance in the pursuit of destructive knowledge, unwillingness to translate knowledge into action. Teacher, light, ability to communicate knowledge, experience, skill, or wisdom. Shadow, manipulating or abusing students, teaching negative traits and destructive skills. Thief, light, sheds light on the potential wealth within you that can never be stolen. Shadow, stealing money, creative ideas, affection, or other powers you think you lack. Trickster, light, transcending convention, stuffiness, and predictable behavior. Shadow, manipulating others through duplicity. Vampire, light, makes you aware that someone or something is draining your life force. Shadow, depleting others for your psychic survival, chronic complaining and codependency. Victim, light, prevents you from letting yourself be victimized or victimizing others. Shadow, playing the victim for positive feedback in the form of pity, inability to maintain personal boundaries. Virgin, light, maintaining symbolic purity of heart and spirit. Shadow, fear of intimate union. Visionary, light, capacity to envision what is not yet conceivable to others. Willingness to proclaim a vision without regard for personal gain. Shadow, selling insights to the highest bidder, compromising your vision to make it more acceptable. Warrior, light, strength, skill, discipline, and toughness of will. Heroism, stoicism, and self-sacrifice in conquering the ego. Shadow, trading ethical principles for victory at any cost, indifference to the suffering inflicted on others.